Whether it's on wheels or on floats, this bird is a lot of fun. Hey there, I'm John. This is Two Brothers RC, and this is the E-flite Twin Otter. Yes, it's back and mostly better than ever. I had the original Twin Otter a few years ago, and it's neat to see it come back even larger this time around. And it flies pretty great too. But this is a review video, not John's personal opinions, so let's dive into it and see how it stacks up to the no patent pending Two Brothers review system. The Twin Otter is relatively maneuverable for what it is. It's a very locked-in aerobat that excels at precise movement, but it's also capable of a lot of different 3D style maneuvers, which is something that I like. If you're looking for relaxing Sunday flying, look no further. This plane will easily do that. There are some things that it won't do, and there's a lot that it will do. It is, overall, a very capable plane that you'll probably have a lot of fun flying, and it's not hard to fly either. Since the Twin Otter is a bush plane in full scale, we'll be using the metrics for bush planes that we developed. And we begin, as always, with the maneuverability section. Starting off, the Twin Otter unfortunately cannot be flown with a neutral center of gravity. It is a pretty stable plane out of the box with a nose-heavy battery location. I'm sure that you could modify it to be as neutral or tail-heavy as you'd like, but out of the box, it is definitely neither of those things, failing this checkpoint. Taking off is pretty simple. Throttle up smoothly with flaps dropped, and it lifts up into the air gracefully. This applies to floats as well. Landing is like any other plane. While you can dead stick it with no power, landing with some thrust is always recommended, and it does this very well, especially on water with the E-flite timber float set attached to it. Both taking off and landing are a breeze, regardless of whether you prefer flying on wheels or on water, passing this next checkpoint. It does have adequate thrust for bush flying, meaning that you can take it to reasonably confined areas and fly there no problem. Now, you're not going to be able to hover this plane. I tried many times and I failed every time. That's not really a ding, it's just something to note. While it doesn't have hovering thrust, it does have plenty of thrust to do anything else, including these sweet high beta knife edge passes with the floats installed. It's unreal how well it does this, actually, passing this next checkpoint. If you're worried about stalling, especially as a newer pilot, fret not. It has a very forgiving stall, with a low 1G stall speed under all of the tests that I performed, and zero issues recovering from stalls or any other intentional upsets. You can even force it into a Harrier pass, a 3D maneuver where you're flying at a very high angle of attack, without stalling, mind you, and it'll do this inverted as well. This characteristic allows it to pass both of our final two checkpoints for a total score of 4 out of 5 in this category. Our next category is flight time, and the Twin Otter definitely doesn't disappoint here. On Spectrum 2800 Pro Air batteries, I was able to get an average of 7 minutes of flight and beyond. If you're not throwing this around like I like to do, and you're just flying it like a normal person, you'll definitely hit 8 minutes and beyond, more if you use a larger battery. The Twin Otter passes this section with a 5 out of 5. Moving into the landing gear section, I didn't fly this plane off pavement at all. Only on grass, because that's all there is at the Holly Springs Skyhawks field. The Twin Otter features functional wheels, albeit rather hard, a departure from normal Horizon releases of late. This passes and fails our first two checkpoints. Since it is a Twin Otter and it has mostly stiff suspension in full scale, I'm going to mark it as passing here because it wouldn't really be a scale feature if the main struts weren't stiff. So it does pass here, but I would have liked to have seen some suspension on the nose for sure. The entire system comes apart to install the floats, so I would imagine that it would be possible at some point for them to offer a nose strut with compression should people find it to be useful. The gear didn't cause any bouncing that I could see, even on rougher grass. It should have no issues handling most grass fields that you throw at it, and if you want to see it on pavement, go check out Brian Phillips or Adam from Model Aviator today. The Twin Otter passes this checkpoint as well. Our final checkpoint looks for whether the gear require low maintenance, and it seemed to. It's hard to mess up simple struts like this. They didn't bend or otherwise get deformed from flying off the grass, so it passes here too with a total score of 4 out of 5. Before we go any further, do note again that if you want to fly off water like you're seeing me do here, you will need the E-flite timber float set linked below. It's not terribly expensive, and if you ask me, I do prefer flying it off water. It's more pitch sensitive, meaning that it'll feel less nose heavy, and it's really fun on the water because of that. The high beta knife edge flying never gets old. It doesn't use water rudders from the timber float set. It actually has differential thrust built into the Avian Twin ESC, so it will understand your Spectrum radio and operate the motors differentially to allow for steering on the water sans water rudders, otherwise known as not having them at all. That's not bad. It's actually a pretty cool little trick. Before we move on to the fit and finish and avionics sections, consider scrolling down a little and hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed, definitely consider it. And if you're not part of our Discord chat server community yet, hop down to the description below, join up, and chat airplanes with us. Don't worry, we don't bite. Moving on to fit and finish, the Twin Otter features large control surfaces. That's precisely what you need in a bush plane to control it at slow airspeeds and at high angles of attack, which it excels at doing, passing this next checkpoint. The foam was undamaged out of the box, even though my Twin Otter was a test unit instead of the typical new in-box experience that you guys are gonna get. Kudos to the test pilots at Horizon for not beating it up while flying the hell out of it, passing this next checkpoint. Unfortunately, it doesn't feature gapless or plastic hinges. The entire airframe is foam hinged. They do seem robust, holding up to everything I threw at it, but this does fail our next checkpoint. If you ever need help fixing a foam hinge, hop on Discord via discord.gg/2brosrc and ask for assistance in the props or tech and setup channels. As usual for Horizon, this plane features decals instead of stickers. And they adhered to the paint and they weren't peeling up. The Twin Otter earns a 4 out of 5 in this category. Our final category is avionics and lighting. We begin by looking at the Servo Quality. This is a 1.4 meter wingspan bird, and it comes with mostly plastic servos instead of metal servos, though the rudder is metal geared. It's not really a huge problem if you're flying it like a normal person, but it did hold up to what I was doing. Your airspeed may vary. It'll probably be fine, but the metric does check for metal servos in this class of airframe, meaning that this fails the first checkpoint. I didn't notice any ESC overheating issues at all, no matter how I flew, and regardless of how warm it was here as summer begins to approach in North Carolina, passing our next checkpoint. It does feature a lighting system, it's nice and bright, and it's correct looking, passing this next checkpoint as well. Unfortunately, the servos are not easily replaceable, so if one of the servos does need replaced, hop on our Discord server via discord.gg/2brosrc and ask for assistance in the tech and setup channel. I've replaced plenty of servos in my time, and I'm not the only one. We'll all be happy to help you out, but this does fail the next checkpoint. One thing to note though before we wrap up here, the servos inside of the fuselage are screwed in place so you can easily change those out. However, most of the servos are in the wing. You've got 4 of them there and they're all glued in place. The motor mounts seemed well designed. If you bust up the motor mounts, you've probably destroyed the wing, so at that point you would want a new wing anyhow, passing our next and final checkpoint in this category with a 3 out of 5. With all that said, it is a pretty good flying plane, and it's a welcome update to the original Twin Otter that I flew once upon a time so long ago. Overall, the Twin Otter scores a 20 out of 25. It got a few dings, but it's otherwise pretty solid, and I think most people are going to enjoy it, especially if you're like me and you enjoy trying to push airplanes outside of their design envelope. There's no need to cover the AS3X Plus gains or anything. This plane comes bind and fly out of the box, but I will say that you can improve how well it flies by tuning the gains to your own preferences. And you can adjust the location of the battery if you're willing to carve out some foam, but those will be topics that I cover next year when we take another look at this plane. If you like what you've seen, consider picking it up from the affiliate link in the description below to support what we do here at Two Brothers RC at no additional charge to you. If you enjoyed this video, consider being a channel member. Huge thanks goes out to our existing channel members on twobrosrc.com/supporters. You guys collectively make it possible to continue creating videos like this. A very special thanks goes out to our mega fans, Sarasota RC Squadron, Michael Smith, JR Man, and Todd, along with our ultra fans, Seahawk92 and TBRC Fan. You guys kick so much ass. Coming up soon will be the Precision Aerobatics Ultimate ARMR 60. Sorry about the bait and switch, but I can't tell you about this stuff before it comes out now, can I? See you guys next week.